Hey, what's up, everybody? This is KENDRICK MIREE here, and you're watching The Last Round. Hey, what's up, Enock?
Hey Kendrick, how you doing, bro?
How you been, man?
Man, I've been good. I've been good.
So, how do I pronounce your whole name? It's Enock Francois?
Yes, sir.
That's it?
Enock Francois. That's perfect.
That's perfect.
That's
okay.
it. That's
so,
it.
So tell us about yourself, man. You got a crazy resume. You from high school, college, to even now.
Yeah.
So let's go all the way back to where it started.
Right?
Right? Oh no, 80.
80.
Okay.
And I gotta do the elevator version because
Okay.
we gotta go through this kind of fast. And a lot of times I go through this and people are like, there's no way you're 33, just turned 34. you done done a lot.
Goodness.
But yeah, we've been through it. So matter of fact, I was born in Miami. I was born in Miami, and after a couple months old, I actually grew up with my father in Haiti until I was about 7 years old, and then came back to the States.
What part of Haiti?
Port-au-Prince.
Okay.
Port-au-Prince, Haiti. And then I came back to the States when I was about 7, going on 8. Lived in West Palm then with my mother, and went through from then to high school. And I grew up my whole life playing soccer.
Soccer?
Playing soccer, man. Playing soccer.
You were a little bit too big for soccer, right?
No, I was tiny little dude.
You were smaller than
Yeah,
okay.
because I got to high school weighing about 100 pounds. Right?
How much you weigh now?
Oh, man, I think I walk around at 205.
Jesus.
What? I don't
Ronnie, I thought you were going to say, oh, like, 180, 170. Yeah, so that was me in high school.
Yeah,
I was like 170. Yeah.
Now we just about the same size walking around. But yeah, so once I got to high school, that's when I started wrestling. Because I grew up, Haiti, soccer's popular sport, so all I did was play soccer. So once I got to high school, started wrestling, started getting some muscle tone. Man, this is cool. We'll just stick to this.
Yeah.
And it's hard work, but that's what instilled a lot of that work ethic. And got into college, and a lot of things really started connecting.
So let me take you back. So when you was in high school, did you start in your 9th grade, your freshman year?
Yeah, started freshman year.
And how was your first year wrestling?
Man, I want to say I was successful, but I think it was like 50-50, man, because I got beat up.
No, you said this.
Tell us the truth. Yeah, 50-50, and you're talking Florida wrestling, so it's not the highest levels of wrestling.
Yeah.
So, where I tasted some success, at a lighter weight, but
in your senior year, what happened?
Senior complete turnaround where everything started to connect.
Yes.
And got to the state championships, placed at the state championships, not as high as I wanted to, because you want to win it as a senior. But I think that was a good thing. Everything happens for a reason, because you still have that chip on your shoulder.
Yes.
Right. So then I got to college, and then the rest is history. I got to college, and it all connected. It felt like I was in the Matrix.
What college?
Northwestern College, NAIA school, Orange City, Iowa. Spent 3 years there. All American, All American 2 times over there. All American twice out there, and then I transferred to Cal Baptist University, Southern California, Riverside, California, and fell short at the national championships there.
Got you.
In the final.
What did you study when you went to college?
So I graduated as a psychology major, social work concentration.
Did you go in saying I want to do psychology?
No, man. I actually went in thinking more business and more nursing, and both of those things didn't materialize.
Yes.
And my whole thing was I wanted to somehow get into a profession where I felt like I was helping others more. I think that piece of servant leadership always kind of struck me, and that's what I really wanted to do. So my path kind of fell into the social work side of things and the psychology side. And once I graduated college, I knew I wanted to compete. You still want to compete, but you're just like, I feel like I need a break from everything. So I just went for forest fires.
That's when me and you met, right?
Yeah. I've traveled down, was training with you guys, and so once I started doing that, Some opportunities opened up where I was got a chance to do some graduate work as a grad assistant at University of Cumberlands, and that started my college coaching career.
Right.
So I graduated there with my master's degree in special education.
Okay.
Once I got done with that, I got a call from a coach at Army West Point.
Yes.
He asked me if I wanted to keep training at the next level and coach Division I. What are you gonna say that now?
And this was what school?
Army West Point.
Army West Point.
Yeah, New York.
At some point that I knew you were going back and forth to Cornell.
Yeah. And that was after, so two years down the line there. So now it's from 2012 to 2014. I get upstate to Cornell University, training with those guys, and I'm starting to teach full time. So now I'm teaching full time, training, and I started my Ph.D. program. So I don't know how that happened. Don't even ask me how it happened.
I was like, whoa.
Don't even ask me how it happened.
So you still were competing in freestyle wrestling.
Yeah.
All right.
Freestyle wrestling.
So at what point were you able to how high did you get in freestyle wrestling? Like what type of success you had?
Yeah, well it was a fun transition, I'll put it that way, because you start with it, and when you're wrestling at an NAIA level, everybody looks at Division I athletes. Especially when you go to the next level, it's always about Division I, who's done this, who's done that. Nobody's looking at the kid who came from an NAIA school. So it was a matter of getting to the senior level and proving yourself, really. And so I got there. Once I started developing a lot of things, I started knocking people off, and to the point where I was ranked third on the Olympic ladder, freestyle. When you rank third in the U.S., those are some fun accomplishments. It was fun grinding and doing that, but it comes to a point where you still have to somewhat start making decisions where you're thinking more about career,
right, longevity,
longevity and things like that, where you almost have to walk away from the competition aspects a little bit, which is a lot of reasons that kind of brought me back down to Florida. The opportunities from a career standpoint, and somewhat making that decision to still stick with the passion. Do the things you love with the coaching piece and everything, but being a little less selfish, and stop pursuing your endeavors from that competitive point aspect, where you still can be competitive in the other things you do in life. And I slowly started kind of pulling away from competing.
So you ended up completing your PhD.
Yes.
How was that feeling, my man?
Man,
to be considered an athlete. You walk up the street, or you walk in certain arenas, like you walk into Cornell University, or you walk into like a nice bougie club, restaurant or whatever, and the first thing people think, he's just an athlete.
And that's and most people, when it's just like you're saying, right?
Yeah.
When you walk in somewhere like that, and the last thing they think about is your level of education. The first they look at you like, oh, you're an athlete. Like,
that's it.
And pretty much, like, hey, where did you play? And the first question I get is, where did you play ball at?
Yes.
I'm a football player. I'm like, man, I never really touched a football in my whole life, man. And I'm like, okay, I'm a wrestler, and I tell them. And I never go into the academics with them when they ask. I always keep it strictly athletic. I'll say, well, yeah, I'm a wrestler, I coach. That's it. Yeah. And I'll leave it at that. And now, some people, they'll read into things, and they'll take a little time to get to know you. And I appreciate when people try to get to know me.
Yes.
Because I don't sit there and just tell people about myself. Unless you ask me.
Unless you ask me.
Yeah, you ask me. So once they take the time to get to know me and say, well, what else do you do?
Yeah.
And some people, you'll see that they're sincere about it. Well, what else do you do? Because they really want to know. And that's when I kind of tell them, well, I'm an administrator, I oversee this.
They genuinely ask you,
I just finished up my PhD. And so when they hear all this stuff, they're like, how in the world you do all that? And the first thing I said, I don't know.
And then you call forest fires on the side.
Yeah. I said, I don't know how it all happened, man. My mom and dad, they pray for me a lot. I think the power of prayer is where it all comes in.
So also, your dad taking you back to Haiti. How long did y'all stay there when y'all went?
So my mother, she had me in the States, and so she had me grow up with my father in Haiti because he was there, and I was there with them until I was 7.
Right.
And then she came to Haiti and took me back with her, and I started 3rd grade in the States. So matter of fact, I didn't speak a word of English either.
I was going to say that, so I brought that up to say that having that bilingual
Yeah,
upbringing, having that, seeing one side of life, and seeing the States, you had an edge up on a lot of people.
Oh,
so was
yeah.
that a driving force behind you?
Most definitely, because and I'm always thankful to this day my parents for have made that decision, because you know, I got to the States and I said to myself, you know, I'm sitting there in school, and when you're in school in Haiti, if your parents don't have the means, you're not going to school.
Yes.
You know, if you can't pay for school, you're not going to school. That's the bottom line. That's how it is. And so when you get to the States, and it's just like, wow, we get a great level of education, free, we're getting fed, we're getting this. And I saw it, I'm like, man, these kids aren't, a lot of the kids, they're not taking it at face value. They're not really understanding the opportunities that they have.
They don't see it.
Yeah, they don't see it. And I'm sitting there like, let me just behave and learn. Now, whereas in Haiti, and my father can attest to this, I got 3 whoopings a day. 3 whoopings a day. I was a pass counter. I was that guy.
Wow.
Oh, I was that guy. I was messing with school, and then when the tutor got me, I got another whooping. When I got home, they called my dad, and then I got another whooping at home. So 3 a day. So then I get to the States, and my conduct was all fours. So you know, the turnaround you make, because you start to understand, you see the difference. You're like, oh wow, yeah, I should take advantage of this and do something with myself. And I understood that very early on. So that work ethic was just there. And so, you know, when you talk about the language barrier, my parents had no idea what was coming in from school. You know, whether I did my homework, whether I did. So there was no real accountability at home to do my schoolwork, to do anything. I was it. So if I didn't take that seriously, if it didn't connect for me right away, I wouldn't make it anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, you're right. That played a big role. So now that we have our you have your doctorate, all right, and with what's going on today with here in the globally, the pandemic. Where do you see yourself at, as far as like using all this knowledge you got? Because you got a ton of knowledge, you got a ton of different experiences. What you gonna do with all that?
Well, you know, and I brought that term earlier, you know, when we talk about servant leadership, right? About helping other people and giving back. And I feel like that's always what it's been about for me. And the levels of education and how the world works, it's all about building a platform, right?
Yes.
You get it, you get the credentials. I have the credentials, now I have more of a platform. And now, and it shouldn't be this way. Now, a lot of times, because of the credentials, now you value what I'm saying more, a little more. I'm gonna have your ear more. I'm gonna have a little more of your attention, and that's okay. Because you know, a lot of it comes with the education, right? I put in that time. I learned all these things. Now I want to share it, and I think that's a big piece of what servant leadership is, and it's just to reach, you know, a lot of those specific niches in society where it's like, you know, where you have other people that are in places that are like, I feel like I'm in a pit and there ain't no way I'm getting out of that pit, or I'm starting this far back of the line and I can't catch up, and all these things, and those barriers, you can look at them as barriers or look at them as excuses. Stop looking at it. You're already there. How are we gonna overcome it?
Yes.
You know, how are you gonna approach it from a different standpoint mentally? And I think that's my position now, where I'm at a place where I can utilize what I've already done and help that next generation come up and surpass everything I've done. You know, and I'm never in a place where I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna help this person get to somewhat where I am. I'm gonna help you get over where I'm at.
Yeah. So
then you can get that next group and get them over where you're at.
Right.
And then we're climbing mountains, man. We're jumping over them. So that's what it's about for me.
Yeah. So now, okay, when we have people on the show, we like to see the transition. You told us about the transition and whatnot. And you know, the show is called The Last Round, but the reality is, it's like the next chapter, the next phase. And the reason we call it The Last Round is because people like yourself who transition from athletics to business or to whatever the next career move is. Sometimes people have a hard time seeing that vision or having the know-how to get there. And so the reason we come up with the show is so that we can show other athletes how we're getting there. You know?
And I'm glad you said that. So a big way of like how we getting there. It's about not being scared to fail, right?
Yeah.
Like that fear of failure is so real.
Pride too.
Right?
You know,
Yeah. It's so real. Like you're scared to take that risk.
Yes.
Because either way, you gotta take a leap.
Yeah.
It's like for yourself, example, like when you were used to just competing and training and doing all these things.
Yes.
You were getting paid for these fights. You were getting paid to train, and you might have been comfortable there. And you're thinking to yourself, if I let this go,
yeah.
what else am I gonna hang on to? How am I gonna make it out?
Yes.
And it's okay to let go.
It's okay to let go.
It's okay to let go, and because there's so much more to life.
Yes.
So much more to it, and it's. And I really don't even have a secret recipe or anything like that to get anybody mentally from that place to this place. But it's just a matter of being a little fearless and being okay to take a risk.
Right.
And bet on yourself.
Right. Exactly. I what you just said, I try to, get that to other athletes that are still competing. Mm-hmm. And I remember back when I was training down in Boca, one of the athletes, very famous, well-known guy, he said something that kind of broke my heart. He was talking to us, some of the younger fighters in the group, and he was telling us how he was like, man, where else can I make this type of money at? I make, more than what a doctor makes in a week. And me personally, a lot of people don't know this. I always have a plan, right? They didn't know I went in and I expected to be done fighting by 36. I wrote this out. I said, I want to fight. I'm gonna be done by 36. I'm gonna go on with the next phase of my life. So fortunately, I ended up stopping 3 years earlier than what I planned. But I seen the opportunity to make my next transition a little sooner, so I made it happen. I said, oh, this is where I need to be. I'm just here earlier than what I expected to be. So let me just go ahead and make that transition. Yeah. Well, anyway, this fighter that we looked up to, he said that statement like, "Hey, I make more doing this. I don't have anything else. Or how else can I make this type of money?" And I thought to myself, like, "Dang, that's sad. Like, that's how you feel? I don't feel like that. Yeah. I feel like I got a brain still, and I got so much more to do than just fighting. Even though I love fighting, I can step in the gym and go fight anytime I want." But I have there's so many ways in my mind. I was like, dang, that's sad. Why are you telling everybody that?
And it comes back to that mindset, right? Yeah. You're either gonna have a growth mindset about everything or a fixed mindset. Yeah. And when we're stuck somewhere and we're saying, what else am I gonna do? That's that fixed mindset, right? Yeah. And you just don't see another opportunity. And the growth mindset is you see an endless world of possibilities. Yes. I feel like, and this is a joke I've had with some of my buddies. I said, man, I don't have enough of me. Mm-hmm. I said I want to be like 3, 4, 5, 10. I want to be 10 versions of me, because there's so many things I want to do, and I don't have enough time in this lifetime to get to it all. Yeah. I'm like, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to be there. I want to be there. It's like there isn't enough of me. Yeah. And that is probably the toughest thing I fight on the daily.
Trying to be good with where you at right now.
And not be everywhere. Of course, because I want to do so much. It's not enough of you. It's not enough of you to do it.
That's what's up, my man. So one last question. We'll do a current topic. So I don't like talking politics. Okay. But this is people turn it into politics. And it's just, sometimes it's just facts to me. It's just like, this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no this or that. In America, as you know, where that politics divide our country. To me, I feel like, why is it the Democratic Party? Why is it the Republican Party? Why isn't it just the American Party? Why do we have to come up with these names, titles, and whatnot? When it comes to people that look like me and you, that consider themselves Black American, Haitian American, African American. Where do you see us going after all of these protests and after, even like, and again, I don't want to talk about religion. To me, no matter who's who's the president or who is running like the government, I never really let it have an effect on me.
Yeah.
You know, even though they might do something, I said, oh, you did that? All right, screw you, I'm gonna go do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's my mentality when it comes to government. You know, it's like, if it works for me, it don't. If it don't work for me, I'm gonna figure it out. We'll figure it out. So where do you feel like the culture of being black, you know what I'm saying, in America, where do you think that we are going now? What's next?
I think it's going in a positive trajectory. You know, believe it or not, based on everything you're seeing. Because I'll speak just based on my experiences with everything. You know, since all this has happened, and people have asked me, so how do you see it getting? How do you see it potentially getting better? What could be done? And I've always said this from, because this isn't anything new. Right? It's nothing new. So I've always said it's like just taking time to understand other people, which means you have to be empathetic. And I always, you know, I try to break down the difference between being sympathetic and empathetic, right? If you're gonna show sympathy, it's like you're being sorry for something. And I always say, well, what are you sorry for? You don't have to be sorry and apologize to me for anything. I don't know that you even did anything to me. But just be empathetic, and empathy is understanding, right? Putting yourself in my place, potentially just from a mental standpoint, and attempting to understand what I may go through that you don't, and that's it. So then you have more of an understanding, and you know, and we move on, and that's it. And that comes off of conversations. And so one thing that's happened with all the writing and all these things that are happening, I'll literally go into a gym, right? And I'm sitting in the sauna with folks, and they'll come in the sauna or steam room, and I literally have them look at me, and they actually say, hey, do you mind if I ask you about something? And I'm like, oh wow, we're having a conversation. Yeah, go ahead, ask me. And so as a minority, you know, I can't shy away from these conversations. I can't be offended and say, no, don't talk to me. Right. Exactly. That's what we can't do on the other side.
That's what we can't do.
Yeah, so please talk to me. Right. Because now if you felt some type of way, now you're gonna know and understand and be like, oh wow, it's really not like that. That's that person's viewpoint. And me as a black Haitian American, my view is completely different from a black African American, right? It's
something different.
It's all different. Yeah. So then you can't even say all black people are the same. I can't even say all white people are the same. Right. I have to take the time to get to know that person. Yes. You know, and that's what it comes back to, man. Just being open-minded enough to just have conversations and understand where everybody's coming from.
Everybody's coming from.
Yeah, and I think we're getting to a better place with it. Yeah. Now, do I think that stuff, all of it's just gonna go away? Absolutely not, because you have some people where it's generational. If you grew up one way and only learning one thing your whole life, that's all you knew. You know, how can I be upset with you because you're Asian? That's all you do. Yeah. So unless I had that conversation with you and got to know you and you got to know me, you would never know any different. Yeah. So, and you know, that's what it comes down to. But it's just more of those conversations. They have to keep happening. We can't run away from it. Yeah. Both sides, we can't shy away from it. It's tough. It's tough. We just gotta embrace it.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. But that's all we got, man. Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for having me, Kendrick. Appreciate it.
Kaden, thanks for having me. Thank you.
It was so much fun.
All right, man. We're going to talk to you guys later. Thank you for watching.